My ex-husband refused to pay child support. I chose a method that hurts more than money. Kevin and I lived together for 11 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party. He was cheerful, boisterous, and charismatic. He had a loud laugh, broad shoulders, and a knack for fixing anything, from a faucet to an engine. The first few years were good, really good. Kevin worked as a car mechanic, then opened his own small service center. We had money, not a huge amount, but a steady one. We bought a 2-bedroom apartment with a mortgage, had Danica, then Latifa. An ordinary life, an ordinary happiness. The kind you don't notice until you lose it. Everything changed when Kevin rose to prominence. The service grew. 2 branches appeared, new clients, and money. Kevin bought himself a BMW, started going to business meetings in the evenings, and made new friends, well-groomed guys in expensive watches who looked at me like I was furniture. And then Jeanette showed up. But that's another story. The main thing is that one March evening, Kevin sat down across from me in the kitchen and said, "Tyra, I'm leaving. I need space." Space. 11 years of marriage, 2 children, and he needs space. I didn't cry in front of him. I didn't scream. I didn't break any dishes. I simply asked, "And the children?" "The children will stay with you. I will help. I will help." We divorced quickly, by mutual consent. Kevin left us the apartment, the mortgage was already paid off, and took the car and his business. We agreed in court on child support, 33% for both children, as required by law. The money came in for the first 3 months. It wasn't much. Kevin, of course, understated his official income. According to the paperwork, he was earning $75,000, although his service was earning 10 times more. But I didn't argue. $2,000 in alimony plus my salary. It was enough to live on. We weren't living in luxury, but we had bread and butter, and milk, and even the occasional ice cream on Sundays. And then the money stopped coming. First, Kevin delayed me for a week, then for 2, then for a month. I called, "Kevin, when will the alimony be paid?" "Tyra, it's a tough time right now. Business has slumped. I'll send it to you next week." Didn't throw it off. I called again. "Kevin, Danica has a swimming class. We need to pay for it. And Latifa needs a winter jumpsuit. She's outgrown his old one." "Tyra, I told you it's a difficult time. Why are you pressuring me? Am I printing money?" The voice is irritated, alien, as if I'm not the mother of his children, but an annoying debt collector. I hung up and sat down on the floor in the hallway. Danica came over and put her hand on my shoulder. "Mom, what's wrong?" "It's okay, baby. Everything is fine." I was 35 years old, sitting on the floor of my apartment, holding the phone to my ear on which my children's father had just explained to me that his children were pressure. 8 months have passed. No child support payments. I contacted the bailiffs, who shrugged their shoulders and said, "We've sent a request. Just wait." I waited. A month. 2. 3. The bailiff, Keisha Kendrick, a woman with tired eyes and a folder as thick as her hand, told me every time I visited, "Keisha Kendrick, we're working, but the debtor has no official income. The service is registered to someone else. The property is registered to someone else. Formally, he's unemployed." "He drives a BMW," I said. "The car is registered to his partner. We can't seize her." "He has 2 auto repair shops." "They're registered to his mother's sole proprietorship. Legally, he has no connection to them." I sat in the bailiff's office hallway, surrounded by other women like me, tired, angry, with folders in their hands, and I realized The system doesn't work. Not because people are bad, but because people like Kevin has long since learned to circumvent it. Kevin isn't stupid. Kevin is cunning. He transferred everything to his name beforehand. The car to Jeanette, the business to his mother, the apartment he bought after the divorce to his brother. Officially, he's a nobody, an unemployed man with no property or income. Poor, miserable Kevin. And I am a nurse with a salary of $32,000 and 2 growing kids. The fracture happened in October. Not figuratively, but literally. Latifah fell during gym class and broke her arm. It was a displaced fracture. She needed surgery. Not urgent, not life-saving, but without it, her arm would have healed improperly, and then she would have had lifelong problems. The operation cost $125,650. Under compulsory health insurance, the waiting list is 4 months. My 7-year-old kid has to walk around with a broken arm for 4 months and wait. I called Kevin. Bone, Latifah has a fracture. She needs surgery. $65,000, at least half. A pause. Long. Heavy. Tyra, I can't right now. I really can't. Let's go through the compulsory health insurance. Under compulsory medical insurance, 4 months. Well, it can wait. The kids are strong. They'll get along. The kids are strong. They'll grow together. I stood in the hospital hallway, holding the phone to my ear, and looked at Latifah, who was sitting on the couch with her arm in a splint, drawing a crooked little man with her left hand. She wasn't crying. She was drawing. 7 years old, and she'd already learned not to cry. Okay, I said. Thank you, Kevin. I understand. I hung up, and in that moment, something inside me changed. It didn't break, no. On the contrary, it hardened, like cement that had been liquid for a long time and suddenly set. I borrowed money. My mom had $20,000. Denzel, a colleague from work, had $15,000. I scraped together the remaining $10,000 myself, selling winter boots and an old tablet on eBay. Latifah had surgery a week later. Everything went well. Her arm healed properly. And I started thinking, I'm not a lawyer, not a businesswoman, not a detective. I'm a nurse who knows how to administer IVs and take blood pressure. But I'm a mother. And a mother, when cornered, thinks more clearly than any lawyer. I didn't need Kevin's money. Well, of course I did. But I realized money wouldn't get him anywhere. He'd re-registered everything. He'd hidden behind Mom, behind Janet, behind the papers. Legally, he was invulnerable. The bailiffs were powerless. The courts were useless. You could spend years going through the courts and still get the answer. The debtor has no official income. But Kevin had something that couldn't be transferred to his mother. Something he treasured more than his BMW and steaks at St. Patrick's Day parties. Reputation. Kevin is a show-off. He lives for show. Expensive car, expensive woman, expensive friends. He's a successful entrepreneur, a self-made man. His auto repair shop doesn't rely on advertising, but on word of mouth. Clients come to him because Kevin is one of our guys, decent and won't screw you over. Decent guy. He won't screw you over. That's what I decided to pull for. I didn't mean to start a scene. I didn't mean to post on social media with the hashtag alimony payer. I didn't mean to stand outside his auto repair shop with a sign. That's hysteria. And hysteria doesn't work. Hysteria is easy to discount. Your ex is crazy. Don't pay attention. I chose a different path. Quiet, precise, invisible for the time being. I learned a little about Kevin's clients. His auto repair shop worked primarily with corporate clients, company fleets, taxi companies, logistics firms. For them, Kevin was a reliable contractor, honest, decent, one of the guys. Among his clients was the transport company Hector. Its director was Robert Dallas, a man in his 50s, a father of 4, and a well-known philanthropist in the city. He sponsored orphanages, helped large families, and had a certificate from the governor for his contribution to the social development of the region hanging on his office wall. Family. I found this out by chance. I saw a photo of Robert Dallas in a local newspaper at a charity event, and the caption read, "Director of the Hector Shopping Center." A longtime client. Kevin bragged to me about him a long time ago. I gave Kevin one more chance. The last one. She called in November, calmly, without any hysterics. "Kevin, they took off Latifah's cast. Her arm is fine. Thanks for asking." Silence. Danica took second place in the city math Olympiad. She needs a tutor to prepare for the regional stage. One lesson costs $150, twice a week. I can't afford it. Tyra, well, I explained. "Kevin, I'm not asking for anything extra. I'm asking for what the law says. 33%. Your children aren't strangers. They bear your name. You know my situation. I know you flew to Turk and Caicos in September. I saw the photo. Janet paid for it. Of course. Janet paid for Turk and Caicos. Janet owns a BMW. Mom owns a business. And you're a poor, unemployed guy who doesn't have the money for his kid with a broken leg. Don't pressure me, Tyra. I'm not pressuring you. I'm warning you. If you don't start paying by the end of the month, I'll take a different approach." Is this a threat? No, Kevin. It's a promise. He chuckled, confidently, contemptuously, like a man who has hidden his money so well that he feels invulnerable. Come on, Tyra. Go ahead. What are you going to do? The bailiffs have already been here and found nothing. I'm clean. Okay, I said. You've chosen. I didn't write Kevin an expose. I didn't post screenshots of our conversations. I didn't hang his photo with the caption, "Shame," on the fence outside the auto repair shop. I made it easier and less painful. I wrote a letter, just one letter, by hand, on good paper, in a calm, even handwriting. The addressee is Robert Dallas, director of the transport company Hector, a longtime client of the Kev Avto Auto Service Center. In the letter, I didn't complain, didn't ask for money, didn't ask for help. I wrote that I was the ex-wife of Kevin, the owner of the service Hector partners with, that we had 2 children, that Kevin hadn't paid child support for 8 months, that the business that brought him income, including from contracts with Hector, was registered in his mother's name to avoid penalties, that his youngest kid had broken her arm, and Kevin had refused to help with the surgery because the children are strong, they'll heal, that I had raised money for the surgery by selling my belongings. I attached a copy of the court order regarding alimony, a copy of the bailiff's note about the arrears, a hospital certificate about Latifah's fracture, and one photo. Latifah is in a hospital ward, with her arm in a cast, drawing a crooked little man with his left hand. He's smiling. At the end of the letter, I wrote, "Mr. Robert Dallas, I'm not asking you for anything. I just want you to know what kind of person is servicing your cars. You sponsor orphanages and help other people's children. I admire that. but maybe it's important for you to know that the person you're paying for the work isn't feeding his own. Sincerely, Tyra. I sent the letter by regular mail, registered mail with acknowledgement of receipt, and began to wait. There was no answer for 2 weeks. I was beginning to think the letter had gotten lost, or Mr. Robert Dallas had thrown it away, or he didn't care. And then Kevin called. It was Sunday, 10 in the morning, and I was frying pancakes. My phone vibrated on the table. Kevin? Hello? You? His voice was so loud that I pulled the frying pan off the stove. What have you done? What did you write to Mr. Dallas? The truth. What truth? He broke the contract, said he wouldn't work with a man who doesn't support his children. That's 30% of my income, Tyra. 30%. 30%? How awful. I'm missing 100% of the alimony, but who cares? Do you understand what you've done? I'll sue you for slander. Give it to me. Everything I wrote is true. I have documents, a court decision, a certificate from the bailiffs, a certificate from the hospital. You haven't paid child support for 8 months, Kevin. That's a fact. Not slander. It's a fact. Silence. Heavy breathing. You will answer for this, he hissed and hung up. I returned to the pancakes. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding. Latifah ran up. Mom, make it with jam. Of course, my dear, with jam. I don't know exactly what Mr. Dallas said to Kevin. I only know the result. And the result was this. Robert Dallas, a man who is friends with half of Chicago's business community, mentioned this story at a business lunch. I don't know if it was with names or not, but rumors in our city spread faster than Wi-Fi. 2 weeks later, Kevin lost 2 more corporate clients. One was a delivery network's fleet. The other was a taxi company. A month later, his partner Vince, the same one who had once helped him open the second branch, called me. I didn't expect it. Tyra, this is Vince. We saw each other at Kevin's birthday a couple of years ago. I remember. I heard what was going on. I want you to know, I didn't know. Kevin told everyone that you had separated amicably, that he was helping, that everything was fine. I didn't know. Now you know. Yes, and I'm ashamed. Not for myself, but for him. We've been friends for 20 years, and Anyway, I'll talk to him. Vince talked. I don't know how, but Vince is the only person Kevin respects. The only one he doesn't show off in front of. Maybe because Vince knew him before BMWs and steaks, when he was just an ordinary mechanic with oily hands and honest eyes. The money arrived on December 14th. I remember the date because that was the day Danica competed in the regional round of the Math Olympiad, without a tutor, without preparation, on pure talent. The phone rang. A notice from the bank. Translation, $20,000. Message from Kevin. I'm 8 months overdue. I'll be paying $3,000 a month from now. 3,000. Not 2, like before. 3. I was sitting in the school hallway, waiting for Danica to come home from the Olympiad, and staring at my phone screen. $20,000. The numbers were blurry because I was crying. I hid them quietly, wrapped them in a scarf so no one would see. Not from joy, from fatigue. Danica left the auditorium, smiling. Mom, I think I wrote it normally. Better than normal, I said, hugging her so tightly that she laughed. Mom, you're crushing me. She took 3rd place, without a tutor. My girl. Kevin arrived a week after the transfer, unannounced. He rang the doorbell. I opened the door. He was standing there, without the self-assured smirk, an ordinary guy in a jacket, with a bag. This is for Latifah. He held out the bag. a construction set. He liked construction sets, right? She loves me, I said. Come in. We sat down in the kitchen. I didn't make tea. I didn't want to create the illusion of coziness. We just sat. He was silent for a long time. He wrung his hands. Then he said, Vin's told me a lot of things. I won't recount them. But he said one thing that, well, basically, he said, Kevin, do you remember how you cried when Danica was born? You called me at 3 a.m. and screamed, Vince, I'm a father, I'm a father. And now you're a nobody. You don't even pay child support. You're just a nobody. Kevin fell silent. He swallowed. I don't want to be a nobody, Tyra. Then don't be. I'll pay. I already set up an auto payment every month on the 1st. Fine. And I want to see the girls. Not just once every 6 months. Normally. Every week. Pick them up on the weekends. Help Danica with math. I was pretty good at school after all. Danica took 3rd place in the Olympiad. Without a tutor. Kevin looked at me. There was something in his eyes I hadn't seen in a long time. Not love, no. We both knew that train had left the station. But something akin to shame. The real, deep shame of a man who suddenly saw himself through someone else's eyes and was horrified. 3rd place? He asked again. 3rd, in the region. He lowered his head, and I saw his shoulders twitch. Once, twice. He cried. The commercial director of 2 auto repair shops, the owner of a BMW, and a regular at restaurants on River Street, sat in my kitchen and cried because his son became the 3rd in the region, and he found out about it by accident. I didn't feel sorry for him, but I didn't finish him off either. Come on Saturday, I said, at 10. Danica will be happy. And Latifah. A 1.5 years has passed. Kevin pays child support every month on the 1st of the month. He's never missed a single one. $3,000 as promised. But the main thing isn't the money. The main thing is that he comes on Saturdays. He takes the girls for the whole day. They go shopping, go-karting. Danica takes apart engines with him at the service center. She loves it. She's just like his father. Latifah just hangs on him like a monkey and won't let go. Kevin and I haven't made up. We're not friends. We don't drink tea in the kitchen and discuss life. But we are parents. And we finally learned to be parents separately.